So I'm Mary Parietti, and I joined the Army in 1987 and went in as an E2. That was my rank. And then after I did 4 years of training in military, I came out as a specialist E4.
So, what was one of your most fond memories of being in the Army?
Fond memories of being in the Army. Well, some of my favorite times was when I finally got to my duty station after basic training, where I was stationed for a length of time in order to make friends. So I met a lot of really great friends, and one person in particular, her name was Sherry, and Sherry and I became very good friends in the hospital I worked at in Texas.
Are you still in touch with any of them, or have you considered trying to find any of them?
No, I'm not in touch with anybody. That was so many years ago, and everybody just went separate ways and, went on with their lives. I did have somebody try to contact me through Facebook that she thought we were in the same platoon, but I didn't recognize the name, so who knows? I mean, it's a long time ago.
Could you describe just getting to the Army? What were your feelings? Like, were you scared or excited or?
Well, going into the Army, making that decision was a really scary decision. I was really nervous, but I also knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to go into the military and work in an operating room. That's what I wanted to do with my life. And the quickest way was to join the Army and do that. So when I joined, it was leaving home for the first time, and yeah, I was really scared about doing it, but I was also sort of excited that I was going to be kind of out there on my own for the first time.
So you don't regret the decisions? Do you ever wonder what it would have been like if you hadn't joined the Army?
I don't regret joining the Army because it gave me my amazing career. Like, I love working in the operating room, and because that's what I've been doing now for almost 28 years, and I really enjoy my job and my career. I think the one regret I had was maybe I regret maybe not going the 4-year college route, and I chose to do the military route. So
What was your typical day? Like your average?
in basic training,
Sure, yes.
in basic training, you wake up at the crack of dawn and you make your bed, military style, and you hurry up and you get dressed because you have to get into formation in order to go eat some breakfast as fast as you can. And while you're in line, you have to do as many pull-ups at the pull-up bar once you reach it. And then you go in and you eat breakfast as fast as you can, and then you get back into formation and you go do training exercises. For example, one of the days was we went out to the grenade fields and we learned how to, set grenades and throw them, launch them. We also learned how to launch shoot M16s, and we tried to qualify as marksmen, with the M16 rifle. So. And then we would come back, we'd do chow, and then, have a little bit of downtime, but in basic training there wasn't a lot of downtime. We would do exercises in the PT fields and run and...
Describe the food. Is it really as awful as some people have said, or how it's portrayed in movies or TV?
The food is slop, pretty much slop, but you're so hungry that the taste doesn't really matter because it's sustenance. You have to eat in order to get through basic training, and you have to eat whatever's put in front of you, and otherwise, if you don't eat, you won't survive.
So, describe yourself in the Army. How did other people see you?
Well, my drill sergeants at first thought I was like a Private Benjamin, which was a television show about a girl from Hollywood who was all that, joining the Army and trying to be a tough girl in the Army. So I was picked on a lot by drill sergeants because they thought I was more like a
Army brat.
like a glamour girl trying to be in the military, and so I was picked on a lot, and but they basically broke me down and rebuilt me into a tougher person, probably with a pretty bad attitude, because by the time you get out of basic training, I had chips on my shoulder. I was, tough girl. And
how do you think the being in the Army has changed you in a positive way from who you were before?
It's made me a stronger person. It's changed me in the way that I can handle adversity. I can do things spur of the moment, because not everything is planned in the military. You have to be flexible. I am more flexible with life, and it's changed me because it's given me a job I absolutely love. I'm very passionate about my job and taking care of people, but it's definitely made me a mentally stronger person to handle adverse situations.
Was there ever a point after going into basic training where you thought that you wouldn't be able to do it?
Yes. In basic training, I called home crying, begging my parents to come get me because I didn't want to be there anymore, and I didn't want to do it and didn't think I could, and they kind of pulled the tough love card and said, you can do this, you need to do this, and yeah, there was a point where I was at rock bottom at basic training and said, this is not for me, but I continued and fought through a lot of adversity. I also fought through sexual harassment in basic training, where my drill sergeants would harass me sexually with sexual connotations, but I beat that out too. I did what I had to do, which was report that behavior, and so.
Are things like that typically taken care of like right away in the Army, or are they kind of pushed to the side, like when you report bad drivers?
Well, yes, they, when I was in the military, which was in 1987 to 91, there was a lot of sexual harassment that went on. Things were handled differently. I endured physical abuse because my drill sergeant actually physically hit me. They can't do that anymore, but I did report that at the time, and they did handle it right away. Like, it was taken care of. But in today's Army, you can't get away with even touching a soldier. There's things that have changed over the years, so I'm sure it's even dealt with quicker today than it was then.
So your two siblings were also in the military. How do you think that knowing that they were also in it with you affected your experience?
Well, let's see, my older brother went into the Navy, and then I joined the Army, and then my younger brother joined the Marines, so it was kind of that order. And, because they were in it, I think made me want to continue, not quit. It was during the time of Desert Storm broke out and the big Gulf War, and I felt being in the medical field would give me the opportunity to maybe go on the front lines and be a medic and treat and help soldiers who were fighting in the war at the time. But because both my brothers were activated and sent to the Middle East for that Gulf War, they did not send me.
Knowing that they were out there and sometimes fighting during that war, how did that make you feel? Did you think about that often?
I thought about it every day. I was scared because I just didn't know if we were going to get that call that my brother, who was on the front lines driving a tank in the Marines, was going to not make it.
Overall, what is one life lesson or experience that you are happy that you learned and you can take away from your experience in the Army?
Life lesson, to just be a fighter, stand up for what's right. I learned to be strong mentally and physically when I had to be, and I'm super grateful for that, and I'm super grateful for the career that it gave me, because it's allowed me to have a great life, and the career that I have helped provide for my family.
Thank you for this interview. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I enjoy talking about my military life.
All right.
Thanks.